Because we didn't come into this world trapped, we came into this world free, and we became trapped because of this energy field, slowly but surely. Millions and billions of people, myself included, have been routinely making big mistakes or small mistakes in our lives about what is the best thing to do. The reason that this happens, Maya or Mara, is basically seductive and extremely clever. So she'll say things like, and in India they call it Maya the cat. You know, the cat's kind of like, if you've seen cats, they're kind of like looking around, where can they catch something? They're kind of sly. You know, cats are sweet as well, but they're sly and sweet. And they'll catch things. Cats actually kill millions of birds every year when they go outside, and it's actually causing a huge problem, right? So they seem sweet, but they're actually killers. So we have this inside of us, this part of us that is basically making poor decisions because we're being deceived. And the problem is that this deception actually seems interesting. That's why we get deceived, because something that is actually harmful for us is exciting. So a classic example is having affairs or relationships with the wrong people. It's very exciting, it's very interesting, but it leads to loads and loads of problems. Also eating wrong food, you know, yeah, it's tasty, or drinking stuff that's bad for us, or taking drugs that are bad for us. We want to do it, we like to do it, it gives us something. It gives us certain excitement, and it gives us certain brain chemistry effect, and it has certain benefits, but it leads to sorrow, which is why there's so many 12-step groups, people becoming addicted. Cell phones and the internet, again, you know, check this, check that, check this, check that, and then the whole day's gone and you feel miserable. You know, it's all Maya, it's all various forms of Maya. And if it wasn't so seductive and it wasn't so clever, we would see through this and give it up. But because it is clever and it is seductive, that is why we fail regularly and routinely. So the signs that we're under the influence of Maya or Mara or this negativity is depression, confusion, stress, anxiety, also problems in your life that don't seem to go away, recurring issues, and all kinds of addictions. So if you've got any of those things in your life, it's basically because you're under the influence of various forms of Maya. Now, that's not to say that somebody can't overcome this and still have some challenges, because challenges might come anyway, but they're not going to be upset and confused and distressed about them. They'll be able to deal with them much better. So to conquer Maya, we have to be willing to actually die to the addiction, die to the benefits we get from being trapped. Not easy at all. It's not easy at all. In fact, you know, the reason that Buddha and Jesus and these various saints and people like that are famous is because they, to a large degree, have conquered Maya and tried to help everyone else conquer it as well. Unless we recognize what a big problem this is, unless we recognize it and are willing to give it up, then we're not going to change. And if we don't change, then we just carry on to making the same mistakes over and over again, getting caught up, getting all emotional. Oh my God, what about this? Oh, I have to have it, I need it, I want it. And then life goes on and on and on, and we're basically just waking up feeling the monsters inside our head that are demanding all sorts of things from us day in, day out. And really, what kind of life is that? What kind of life is that? Not the kind of life I want to live. And we have to actually take a stand for ourselves and say, I've had quite enough of this nonsense and I want to be free of it, because otherwise we just get deceived again and again and again, and we end up feeling depressed. So we actually have to really see the difference. And the big challenge here, is that we have to give up the payoff of that little bit of excitement, that little bit of, you know, feeling that I'm doing something a bit naughty, but I kind of like it. That thing, it's a bit naughty, but I like it. Or, you know, I used to do it, it's okay, I've been doing this for such a long time. That little thing that kind of justifies it it takes a lot of maturity. It takes a lot of maturity, a lot of honesty to actually be willing to give that little thing up. What's that?
Well, a mouse ate. I had a bar in here and it ate into my bag. It's a bit concerning. And there was no indication that I was going to have a mouse in my bag.
Where's the bar?
It's strange because, you know, they're cute, but
Maya the mouse?
yeah, it's symbolic, isn't it? Like Michael's been talking about the dark side, or Maya, Mara. It might look very sweet, like we saw this mouse and it would run out and hop up the stairs and we thought it was really cute. But, you know, it destroys things.
The problem with the dark side is that it seems sweet, like a mouse or a cat. You know, they're sweet, you can pet them, you know, the mouse looks nice and it seems sweet. But it will eat, the mouse will eat your stuff, you know, eat through your bag, you know, eat through a bunch of stuff and then put shit all over it, you know, poo all over the place and leave you robbed, broken and covered in poo. She's dumping the poo out of the bag. And I think that kind of sums up the dark side, that it all seems very nice and, you know, it's fun and it's pleasant and it's, yeah, everything's fine. But then later on, when we look back, we realize that we've wasted huge amounts of time, huge amounts of energy, we feel stressed out, we feel bankrupt, we feel we've been robbed. It's no one's fault, that's the thing. We can't blame anyone for this because it's just inside of people, inside of all of us. But it's extremely toxic. I'm not saying it's easy to break out of it, but like anything, with enough dedication, seriousness, sense of humor, and understanding, it can be done and it will be done. Because we didn't come into this world trapped, we came into this world free, and we became trapped because of this energy field. Slowly but surely. So if we became trapped, then we can become free once again. We gain back our power, we gain back our freedom, we gain back our sovereignty. So there's a loss on one hand of that little excited dopamine kick in our brain, ooh, but the gain is that we feel stable, contented, naturally joyful inside. Like, I'll give you an example. The times more, you know, because this is an ongoing process. When I'm conquering Maya and I'm very aware of it and I'm breaking free from things, I might still have thoughts, oh, I should do this and I should do that, and I don't do it, and I go to sleep feeling joy, feeling a sense of joy just bubbling up inside of me. When I'm not conquering Maya, then I feel somewhat drained and depressed as I go to sleep at night. So by breaking free, we get a lot of wonderful feelings, and our life is a lot more manageable. When we don't do it, we're basically slaves to this energy field, to this madness, and our whole life is basically wake up, how can I serve this demon? How can I serve it? How can I serve it? How can I serve it? Whole day, whole week, whole year, whole life can be spent serving the monsters. And what do we get out of it? Nothing. We end up with a bunch of cheap thrills and feel sick. And it ruins our lives. It ruins our own life. It ruins everyone else's life. So we need to understand the difference between the soul and the dark side. So like Jesus said, I really like this quote, hate the sin but not the sinner. So don't like the dark side, but don't take it against people personally or yourself personally, because it's not who we are. I think it's very, very important to remember that. Ah, yes. So that's basically the choice. It's not easy to do, and of course we need a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of practice to do this. But it's definitely worth thinking about, tuning into it and thinking, how am I actually willing? Are you actually willing to break free, or would you rather just be a slave and just like, where can I get my next little kick? Because that's basically what Maya's like. So, you know, we have to be willing to give that up and say, you know what, screw it, give it the finger a little bit, because you have to have a little bit like not having it. Yeah, you have to have a little bit of punch in there to break out of it. Otherwise, you know, it just keeps recurring again and again and again. So choice is yours, you know, so our life, we can do whatever we want, but, you know, might as well break free from being a slave to this stuff in our head that makes us make stupid decisions that screw up our life again and again and again, make us miserable. What's the point of that? There isn't any point of it, so let's be done with it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for even being interested in this. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.